Hi there, I'm Michael with etrailer.com. Today we're going to take a quick look at this CURT MV weight distribution system. We're going to go over some of the features and kind of compare it to some of the other weight distribution systems that we have here at etrailer.com. So right from the start, I will tell you that this is a pretty basic system. So if you're looking at this, your main concern is probably going to be the expense. And this is going to be less expensive than almost all of the other models that we have available here at etrailer.com. And the reason for that is because it doesn't have as many bells and whistles or advanced features. So it is a very basic unit. If you're not familiar with what weight distribution system is or does, basically speaking, this is going to install on the hitch of your tow vehicle and then connect to your trailer's frame. So rather than having just that one connection point between your trailer's coupler and your hitch ball, which can oftentimes put a lot of weight on your hitch, causing your tow vehicle to squat at the rear end, which puts a lot of strain on your rear suspension, can bring your front end up, kind of make your steering light and all sorts of other issues. This system is going to connect the spring bars to your trailer, and then these spring bars are going to apply leverage that's going to level everything out so that the weight of your trailer is evenly distributed across all the axles of your tow vehicle and your trailer, so it's going to give you much more stability and control. So basically all weight distribution systems work on the same basic principle. They almost all have that spring bar system. There's different ways of connecting them to your trailer and other features that kind of make slight differences. But in my mind, there's three different categories that you want to be mindful of when selecting a system for you. So the first is going to be your weight capacity. You want to make sure that it's going to fit your trailer's weight. So bigger isn't necessarily better with weight distribution. You want to make sure that it's fitting within the right range. So we'll go over that here in a minute for this. The second category is going to be your trailer height accommodation. So trailers have different ride heights that when they're level, your coupler sits at a different height up off the ground. And so a lot of systems have these shanks that give you adjustment capabilities so you can get the head unit set where it's going to be level with your trailer and make sure that your trailer is going to be level. So you want to make sure that you're finding one that's going to accommodate your setup. So you want to measure where your hitch is, where your trailer coupler is when it's level and loaded, and then make sure that the weight distribution will work for that. Then the third category that kind of separates your different systems is the way they achieve sway control. So most weight distribution systems out there do have some sort of sway control to help keep your trailer in line behind your vehicle to make sure that if you have a big gust of wind or if you're taking a curve or something like that, it's going to help keep your trailer from swaying too much. This system doesn't have any sort of sway control involved. It is just a weight distribution system. There are ways to add on additional sway control components, but that is sold separately. This system itself does not include any sort of sway control system. So again, very basic. There are lots of different options out there that have different weight capacities, different height accommodations, and different methods of achieving this weight control. So make sure you're getting the right system for you. So starting off with the weight capacity, this is going to have a tongue weight range between 800 pounds and 1,000 pounds. The tongue weight, the pressure being pushed down on your hitch ball, is really the most important number when it comes to your weight distribution. That's going to detail how much flex strength your spring bars have, so how much leverage they're going to apply. So again, you don't want a system that's rated for more than your weight capacity or your trailer's tongue weight, because then it'll be too rigid. So if you have a tongue weight that's less than 800 pounds, the system is going to be a little bit too rigid for you. If you have more than 1,000 pounds, the system won't be sufficient. So you want to make sure you're falling within that right range. And then your total towing weight, your gross towing weight capacity is going to be 10,000 pounds. So that's the weight of your trailer plus the load included. So make sure you're getting the right system for you. If you fit into that range, this will work great. This will install right into your 2-inch by 2-inch trailer hitch receiver on your tow vehicle. You want to make sure that your hitch is rated for use with weight distribution. Not all of them are, and obviously your whole setup is only as strong as the weakest component, so you want to make sure that you're not overtaxing your hitch. You can see they do include a standard pin and clip here to hold this into your hitch. We do also sell locking pins if you want to add a little extra security, make it a little more difficult for someone to come along and take off with your system. Our shank is the adjustable height shank like I was talking about. So right now I have it in the drop position and I have my head unit mounted at the lowest point there. So you can see our drop, which is measured from the top inside edge of your receiver tube down to your ball platform, which is about where your coupler is going to sit. We're not going to have a very big drop with this unit. It's only about 2.5 inches. So if your coupler sits 2.5 inches lower than the top edge of your receiver tube, this will work for you. We can also flip it over, use it in the rise position, and then if we set our head unit at the highest point, we'll have a max rise of 6 inches. So if your coupler sits 6 inches higher than your hitch receiver tube, you'll be good there. And then these adjustment holes are spaced 1.25 inches apart, center on center, so you'll have all that incremental change in between those two extremes. So your head unit itself does not come with a hitch ball. So some other units do already have those installed and torqued down. So that's one thing you will have to add on to this system in order to use it. So this opening here is an 1.25 inch diameter. So we'll work with your hitch balls that have an 1.25 inch diameter shank. They also include a reducer sleeve so that you can use a hitch ball with a 1 inch diameter shank. So that's one thing that you will need to add on there. Almost all weight distribution systems are going to require a little bit of a tilt in the head unit. There's different ways of achieving that. This system uses this stacked washers method. This is kind of the traditional method. So you'll stack a certain amount of washers on here. There's a hole on the back side of the head unit this will fit into. You will have to remove your shank in order to get it put in place. And then that's going to press up against your shank there to create the tilt that you need. And so this system can be a little bit of a hassle, having to take everything off if the tilt's not correct, add more washers or remove washers. But really, for most people, you're only going to have to worry about that the first time you're getting this set up, and then you won't have to worry about it again. But if you are one of those people that's going to be using the same system for multiple trailers, switching out your tow vehicle, that sort of thing, I personally really like the Blue Ox Sway Pro weight distribution system. It's got the tilt already built into the head unit, so you don't have to worry about adjustments with washers and that sort of thing. But of course, with more advanced features comes a higher price point, so something to be mindful of there. Our head unit is going to be the connection between our hitch and our shank and our spring bars. So our spring bar is going to slide right up into there that clicks into place. We've got a little pin inside there that's kind of spring loaded, so it just snaps in. We also have our grease zerks here that are going to make it very simple to hook up your grease gun, pump some grease in there, keep everything well lubricated. Our spring bars are a forged steel, so they are going to be very strong and durable for us. They have the black powder coat on them to help resist rust and corrosion. And then these spring bars are going to be held onto the trailer via these chains. The chains will connect to the trailer frame with these mount-on brackets or clamp-on brackets, so you're not going to have to do any drilling into your trailer's frame. You can see they have these bolts that will just tighten against your frame once you have it set down in place. You want to make sure that these brackets are directly over your chains, so you'll get your whole system set up, get your ball connected, and then make sure that the chains line up, are straight vertical. And then it operates on a very simple principle. So you'll bring this forward, figure out which chain you need to use for the appropriate amount of tension that you need, get that hooked in there, and then you can use this bar for extra leverage to lift that up, and then that will hold the spring bar up. You can fine tune this by adjusting which link you attach to, so that you can get the appropriate amount of tension in those spring bars. The instructions go over all that, so you don't have to worry. You can get it set up properly. And then they include these clips that will make sure that this stays in place while you're traveling. So again, the downside with the chain system like this is that these chains are pretty mobile. They're not going to be very rigid, so you're not going to get a whole lot of that sway control built into this system. There are add-on additional systems that you can purchase, like the CURT friction sway control you see there. that you will have to drill into your frame to get mounted in place, but then that provides a nice rigid system to help control that sway. The downside to that is that that is not compatible with your surge brakes. So if you have a trailer with surge brakes, there are other systems that use like an L bracket on the frame, and then the spring bar just sits on that bottom of the L bracket. So that allows enough movement that you can still use your surge brakes, but it's still a very rigid system, so it helps control that sway. So different options out there. Like I said, with the more advanced features, you're going to get a higher price point. This is just a very basic system that's going to give you that sway or the weight weight distribution. Man, that word escaped me there for a moment. It's going to give you the weight distribution by having these spring bars flex so that you're leveling everything out and distributing that weight properly. So overall, a really basic system, but it's still going to do a good job for you if you are most concerned about the price point. But then again, make sure that the weight capacity, that trailer height accommodation is going to work for you. And then if you want to add on a sway control system in the future, you can. But overall, a very simple system here that will get the job done for you. So that completes our look for today. Again, I'm Michael with etrailer.com. Thanks for watching.